just got round to doing a walk around of the Gen 2 Hayabusa, which I've had for maybe a month. I've only had one run on it, one longish or two longish runs, and I've uploaded a couple of 15-minute jobs on those. I had a request for a long shot of the bike. Well, there's a long shot. I should have done a stop and carry on as per Steve's Hornet, but I didn't do it. I must do better. So there's the new, well, it's not new, 5 years old. It's just about the last one that you could get. They stopped producing them because of the Euro 4 regulations, as I explained in the last one. So there we are. I've done a fair bit of minor work on it. I can't say I've done a lot really. I've had seats and tanks off and one or two other things, checking everything around, lubricating things, checking things, and put a few odds and ends on the alternator cover. You can see there's a crash bung, if that's what you like to call it. It's got R&G crash bung on the fairing, and a small crash bung through the front axle. Not sure what good that would do, but anything's better than nothing when you've got something that is quite weighty and the rider's fairly small. One thing I haven't done is change the end cans, because I've sort of got to like them. They're Yoshimura's, and most people want the 4-into-1s because of the obvious power gains. But I like twin exhausts personally, and this one's with the carbon end caps, I think enhance the bike, which I don't really normally say about replacement end cans, but I think they look rather good. And Yoshimura have got two factories apparently, one in Japan and one in the US, but those ones, the twin cans, are made in Japan, and surprisingly, or not surprisingly maybe, they're not noisy, because obviously the Japanese are a bit more stringent in their requirements for noise. And because they are no noisier than the Gen 1 was, and the fact that they are quite nice to look at in comparison to the others, I've kept them. And they are also so much lighter. Now here I have the original silencer, and it weighs an absolute ton. This one was obviously never put on the bike. It came out of the crate, I imagine, and the Yoshimuras were fitted, and these have still got the plastic on. There you go, look, plastic on the can. You can see the difference. I mean, they are so heavy. And if you have a look, huge in comparison. Although I do like the end cap, I'm not so sure that the actual silencer is as good looking. And with the Japanese Yoshimura being pretty quiet, I'm quite happy to keep it for the moment. So, oh God, I can hardly get up with it, it's so heavy. Anyway, there they are. And would you believe that this whole unit, the Suzuki price for it, brand new like this one, is £1,250. Unbelievable. One of the things that's been done is that we now have a power outlet here. Now that's a DIN, a DIN power outlet. On the Gen 1 I used a cigarette lighter outlet, and as everybody knows, they're not very good on a bike because the plugs don't positively locate and they tend to jump out. And the DIN, which is smaller and neater, this is a power output for a phone or whatever. You can see there's a small lip and it positively locates, but you have to be careful to put it in centrally. There you go. See, now that's positively located. It's got a little light on it to show it's energized. This one's energized all the time, although of course it's separately fused. And the reason for that is so that this can be fitted, which I'll pop in. And this is a battery maintenance charger, which fits beautifully in there, and it will also fit in another bike that I'm working on at the moment. And the reason I didn't get this done so quick, this walk around, is because I've been working on an old bike, or oldish Japanese bike that I've obtained that's got a few miles on it, and I'm doing a bit of a refurbishment, so my time has been spent really on that refurbishment and not working on this. In actual fact, that bike I obtained that bike after this one, so this isn't the latest bike at all. That's just the light on the weld. So there we are. That will fit onto the bike I'm refurbishing as well, because I'm going to put a DIN on that, and then I can use the this maintenance charger on a couple of machines. At some time I will also be improving the lighting a little bit, not too much, because the lighting is actually better than on the Gen 1. So if I turn it on, yeah, it's pretty good on the front, but I would probably like to fit some LEDs on those sliders. I haven't taken these to bits yet to investigate, but I reckon I can drill and tap that and put a couple of extra LEDs for motorway use. One of the other things I mentioned was that there was vibration through the tank compared to the blue one, and so I fitted these gel pieces on, and hopefully they'll absorb a little bit of the vibration coming through my knee. But what I have done is improve the rubber mounting. So I've had the tank off, I've improved all the rubber mounting on it, so that might help. I haven't had a run yet to check on that, but I will be. One other thing I did was put the grab rail and the back seat on, because this comes with a plastic hump that fits in nicely to the shape of the thing. I believe they were optional extras when they were new. Anyway, I've got it, but I decided that I wouldn't put a carrier on this one. I'm rather hoping that the old bike I'm working on will become a general purpose machine, and that's the one I'll have the carrier on, and maybe a old top box or something. The only other thing I've done is fill in the frame holes with nice little purpose sized rubber bungs, which I think finishes it off a little better. Be careful when I walk backwards. There are the Brembo brakes. They are so good. Yeah, they really are an improvement. I mean, I don't race about, but I can feel the difference between the Brembo and the Tokiko. I spent a fair bit of time trying to improve those Tokikos, and as I said, they weren't as good as the Fireblade Nissins that were on my old VTR. But these look pretty good. Not a great deal of difference riding it. As I said before, it's a heavy-ish bike, but very planted and supremely comfortable for a sports tourer, which I absolutely love. You really do feel secure, particularly on long, fast bends. Haven't really done a lot of work on it. I haven't been on any twisties of any kind. Just rolled around really at low speed, as you may have seen. And so far, I'm really pleased with it. I'm not sure how long I'll have it. I mean, it's just an old man's sort of fancy, really. When I was 16, we all wanted bikes that would do a ton. Not many did, in spite of what you might think. Gold Stars would struggle. Bonnevilles would struggle. And I don't care what anyone says. If they came in straight out of the factory, they didn't do anywhere near as much in any respect compared to the blueprinted ones that were sent to the journalists. I mean, I had a T150 Trident, and I suppose it would just push a ton, although it would spew oil out of the crankcase like Slippery Sam if you did. Strange bike, that, really not wonderful. And it did about 34 to a gallon, that 750. I did 30,000 miles on that Trident, but it wasn't great. I should have bitten the bullet back in those days and bought a Honda 750, but I was a Triumph man at the time, and so I struggled. And it didn't handle that well either. It was top heavy, and there was all this stuff going on about Japanese bikes not handling well. I didn't think they were that wonderful. And the oil-in-frame Triumphs, they certainly weren't wonderful in my opinion. Far too high. Anyway, there you are. You can see on the mudguard it says ABS, and you can see the ABS sensor on the axle. And that's the main difference, really. It's got an extra 40 cc's than the Generation 1, so it's 1340. My old Gen 1 was reckoned to have about 174 horsepower at the crank, and this one is supposed to have 194 at the crank. I've looked at the graphs that you can get online with the Yoshimuras. If you put the 4-into-1s on, then you really can increase everything if that's your interest. But I reckon from what I can see, and it's not easy to read the graphs, that even these replacement cans increase the mid-range probably to a similar level as the new Generation 3. Anyway, enough talk. Just have a look at the back. The rear lighting is really excellent on this, and I might put some extra lighting on with the there's an advert on the bottom of the number plate. Well, I don't like adverts, so I might well put a LED strip along there in the course of time. But as I say, at the moment my time is spent on other projects. There is really a lot going on here and in other places I own, so I don't get that much time.